Welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. And guys, I am a host, one of the hosts at least, Mr. Bouchel. We have on our regular co-host and host. We have Lady B as well as Lovely T. RW3, I guess he'll be joining us momentarily. But guys, we have a good time. We have actually a very interesting topic today. A much needed topic, and I know before we go on, we still have people that's going to be coming in. But so before then, guys, before I get into who's on the pod today, we really going to we do what we always do, guys. We tell you that you can join us every Sunday at 4:40. We have 4:30 on. I guess I'm gonna even just take that down. And because we normally get started to around 4:40, 4:45. So I'll say that's what time we normally get started is at 4:40, 4:45, guys. But guess what? You can definitely look at us, go to either of these links, whether it be here on the Roundtable Podcast Facebook page, whether it's even on our YouTube page, our IG, or as well as our website. You can actually watch us live on our website. Maybe we can flash that on the screen, that website information that people can join us on our website. So we'll be actually we're going live now on the website. But guys, this is an interesting topic.
Yeah.
And a much needed topic. But before we get in, let's get into the panel.
Yes.
We have a number of people on here,
Most
and
definitely.
let's find out exactly what everyone does. But I'm gonna give it over to you, Lady B, to even give us what are we talking about today on the pod.
Well, we'll be discussing building generational wealth within the Black community, in regards to whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, whatever that thing is that's going to help build generational wealth for people of color. Because we believe is there an opportunity in stocks? One way for people of color to build wealth. We all know that the racial wealth gap is not equal between whites and blacks. Close examination of wealth in the U.S. finds evidence of a staggering racial disparities. At 171,000, the net worth of a typical white family is nearly 10 times greater than that of a black family, which is $17,150 according to 2016. So we're going to kind of talk. I'm going to hear different. We're going to be coming from perspective, getting everybody's views on this. And so most definitely we'll be discussing this. And so I want to kind of find out who's on our panel today as our guest. We have, let me kind of scroll down here really quick here. So we have Dr. Kelli. Dr. Kelli is, I'm going to do brief, guys. It's going to be brief. Dr. Kelli is completed her PhD from USC, the University of Southern California, and also possesses a master's degree in educational psychology. She has a wealth of experience from teaching many, many topics. So we're going to go down. Joi, I don't know if she's on yet, but I'll go down to Vivion. Vivion Diggs, she's my educational
Vivion.
Okay, sorry. Vivion Diggs, his educational background is that he's a graduate of University of Maryland Eastern Shore with a bachelor's degree in construction management, which was a physics and math-based degree. With a little law and business courses as his minor. So we're going to go down to Renae. We have Renae Brown on the panel. She is an enthusiastic speaker and an engaging storyteller. She shares valuable life lessons of how she refused to settle for being defined and limited by the limited visions of others. So she has more on her bio as well. But guys, we're going to go down for the sake of time. Robert Johnson is on our panel today. He is a proven transformational and motivational problem solver, consultant, coach, and speaker. He has over 2 decades of experience leading business and culture transformation for major brands, including Owens Corning, Sam's Club, Bank of America, Capital One Bank, and much more. So for the sake of time, we're going to scroll down to Richard Olsen. Richard Olsen, let's see here. Let me go down here. It says he has a Facebook group called African American Group, Buying and Wealth Building. It's in the process of forming a group purchasing organization. He created the leverage GPO, the purchasing black power of a group of businesses to attain discounts from retailers based on the collective buying power of the GPA members. So, guys, awesome. If I miss anybody, I don't know if Joey's on here yet, but
I think Renae. I don't
I
think I see her. Maybe I don't
read
know.
over Renae.
Okay, so
awesome.
No, I didn't see her on the platform right now.
Okay.
So, but guys, we have a wealth of knowledge here today. And we have our co-host, Lovely T. Lovely T, would you like to say anything before we get started?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the round table.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
and y'all got to jump in because we like to all talk and get our point across. But I am hoping for some fun and meaningful conversation for us to digest at the table today. My name is Tracy. I'm an LMSW and currently a program director at a local mental health agency.
That's right.
Awesome.
So, guys, listen, this is, again, the Roundtable Podcast. We're going to talk about today. What is the title today?
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about the racial wealth gap in America, but is there any steps we can take now to help close this gap, including encouraging Black Americans to invest more? What are some strategies that we as a Black race or community can do to start building that wealth? I mean, as I read, you guys see the numbers. You guys know the numbers in terms of the wealth gap. So we just want to kind of elaborate on what do we do in terms of, I know we're going to talk a little about stocks. Is Dr. Kelly here? Just want to make sure.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
So before you get into that, let me start off this way. So here we know that, whether it's with stocks, whatever it is in terms of money, making money, especially in more so in stocks, in that stock area and Bitcoin, for what is that? Forex, it's foreign to a lot of African Americans. It's just foreign. We don't know anything about it. I remember some time ago, I think it was this Black entrepreneur guy. He had a gas station in Detroit, and I remember him talking about why it's important to have stocks, to start looking into that game. This was years ago. I mean, so it's a thing to some people it is foreign, and to some people they understand it, but then a lot of people they don't, especially our own people. We don't get it. And here's another thing to add to that. We also even face in a situation where, in my own personal belief, that this currency that we have now in play is one day going to play out, where it's not going to be this what we're doing now with the dollar, where it's translated or it's just money. Money shifts. I use a statement, and a lot of people don't know me and my wife's background. We're business owners. We've been owning a business now for some years, about 10, 20 years. In the game of what we do in terms of commercials, and in terms of graphic design, in terms of web design. We also we teach or we guide business owners. Before the pandemic, we was at the Tech Town, where we go there and it's ask the experts, and they'll come downtown, and we'll explain to them about how to move in a digital sense of this new movement, and where everything is online now. How to be a player in this game. So that's some of our experience, and we have stocks in in different things in terms of we use through Cash App, like Moderna, the new thing. But a lot of people, they don't really understand that. So what am I saying? In this new society, which they call it the new reset, where currency is going to change, money shifts. Sometimes we think that money is where because you're not making money in the area of what it is you do, it means that, oh God, money is just gone. Where is it? It's not that it's lost. It's where you can't find it. And well, let me rewrite that. It's not saying that money is it's just gone. It's not saying that it doesn't exist anymore because you're not making it in that field. It shifts. It goes somewhere else, and you have to understand where it is so that you can make money in that area. Sometimes you got to change your platform, your portfolio. Sometimes you have some people who actually go back to school to relearn new things. So why am I saying that? I'm just saying now in terms of the digital area, the dollar is changing where it's going to be put in a digital format. We already see where you're using phones now. You always see we already have been using our credit cards, and we've already been using our debit cards. Even in this pandemic, some places aren't even they claim they ran out of change. We don't have money. You know what I mean? Where it's just moving off of the market. So what am I saying? I'm saying now you see Bitcoin playing a big factor in this thing. Where now you're seeing people are stressing to buy online now, like Amazon. Amazon is taking over. There's a lot of businesses literally closing down because of Amazon. Amazon have stepped in, and now you can just go online and order. So what am I saying in all of that? The game is changing in terms of how we have access to our dollar. It's changing completely. And now, here's this thing with stocks. And see, here's my thing. Stocks can still be a little bit, it could be in this society that we're in, it could be a little tricky because there's a lot of people who are losing the businesses. They're shutting down. So what am I saying? The reason why you guys are here, we want to talk about, this new way of doing things. And some of it is not new, but this new way of doing things in terms of the dollar, how to building wealth in a way that white society has been doing for so many years. You know what I mean? And this is just something new to the black folks, to some black folks. Some white people have been doing this for years, so we want to get off and started off in that area of what are some things that we can do that we can still stay in the game. Still stay in the game and get involved, because a lot of things that we're going to talk about, some people or black folks don't even know about. Yeah. They have no idea about. So how will we start? So
do you guys think? Do you think that blacks can build wealth in the stock market? What do you guys think about that? Anybody?
Absolutely.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'd like to chime in on that. Do you
in terms of whoever you want?
If I go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, let me because that's what I kind of focus on. I focus on teaching people about the stock market, and I usually throw them this phrase right here. I tell them, first of all, it's gotten easier, and I tell them if you know about slavery back in the day, right? They owned black folks and black folks work. I said now it's reverse slavery. When you buy a share of Coca-Cola gotta go make your money. You don't gotta get up. Coca-Cola gotta pay you those dividends. So I try to teach through my channel and just one-on-one that it's gotten easier for us to build wealth right now, especially through the stock market.
Yeah, and
I think I would have to agree with. I would have to agree with that as well. What Brother Davion said is absolutely true. My name is Dr. Kelly, and I own the Stock Options Trading Academy. And so what I do is I teach people a special niche inside of the stock market, which is stock options. And what that allows people to do is invest with smaller amounts of money, and that money can multiply faster than it would if you just bought the actual shares, right? So just to kind of give an idea, when you buy a share, which is the way most people do it, they actually own a piece of Coca-Cola or a piece of Disney or a piece of Microsoft or whatever. What I do is I teach people how to take advantage of controlling shares instead of owning shares. And that's what stock options allow you to do. Okay. And so I teach people how to come in. So right now, I probably have close to 350 clients in my stock option trading academy, and I just systematically take them through classes. I have like an introductory class that's 4 weeks. I have a 8-week class, advanced, and then I have a Wolf of Wall Street class. And I teach specific strategies so that people can learn immediately how to get into this market with a little bit of money and then leverage that money as quickly as possible, use the strategies, and start making money expeditiously. So that's what I focus on. And I have a junior soda class, and I teach the kids how to do the same thing. And it's really amazing to see somebody who has never invested in the stock market at all. Like I had a class earlier today, and she's a Wolf of Wall Street graduate. And one thing I allow my clients to do is once they finish the Wolf of Wall Street 12 weeks, they can come back and take the class over again, just to kind of pick up extra bits and pieces and here and there. And she actually shared some information with the new class. And one thing I said, let me ask you, Sherry, let me ask you, had you ever traded anything before my class? She said, no, never, didn't know anything about it, and now she's made, had several days where she made $1,000 in a day, where she has just really done well. Wow. And I love to see my clients make money. Now, and it's funny because I had a day where back in August, where I made $100,000 in the market in one day.
Wow.
And that's great. That's wonderful, but my thing is, can I teach other people to do it? Can they replicate me? And that's the thing, Mm-hmm. So it took me 3 years to learn how to do that, right? And studying and grinding and figuring stuff out and coming up with strategies and all that kind of stuff. So it took me 3 years to be able to accomplish that. Now I expect my clients to be able to do that in like a year and a half, because they don't have to go and plow the field. It's already been done. I jokingly tell them, I said, it's always the first person that's got to go through with the machete, and then they get the blood, and then they get beat up, and all this kind of stuff. And then my clients, all they have to do is go down the path and la 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 la. Oh, there's blood. This is the way to go. I tell them, you guys don't have to do all that. Just have to do what I tell you to do. And I tell you, do this, don't do that, do this, do this. So I'm holding their hands so that they can be. And I have no ego in the game. I want my clients to be better than me. So I'm hoping that somebody comes along and takes a record at the Stock Option Trading Academy where somebody makes $100,000 and only took them a year or a year and a half. I had a client a couple weeks ago that made $35,000, I think it was, and we just been doing pretty good. I'm really happy about being able to take my teaching experience. I started teaching in South Central LA.
That's right.
Awesome.
Oh, well, so now see, and this is for the rest of the board. Anybody can jump in. Okay, so here's the thing, right? There's people out there, and I'm gonna be more specific of when I say people out there. There's Black people out there, African Americans, who they're working day to day. They say, that sound like another. And I'm saying this because I want to set. I'm setting it up. I'm setting you up for the shot. So my thing is that, hey, listen, I hear what you're saying. I have these bills that I need to pay, and that's not something that I can make money right away, I'm concerned about me making money right away. I'm not concerned about, then I need all of this money. Because most people, from what I see, more white people who even talk about it, they invested, they had to invest $5,000 to get so many shares, the shares running $100 a share. And, I can't make no money off just buying one share. What would you say to all of that? I mean, just overall, anybody can answer that. What would you say to that? Because there are some people out there that think that way. That's not for me. Is it for them? Who is this for?
So
if I can finish up one more thing.
Dr. Kelly, 1 second. Let me just add here before I don't want to cut you off, but I had a thought before we can get to investing, before we can get to saying I want to make quick money, right? We have to start with the mindset. And I think we have to remind people that there was a Black Wall Street. So success in the Black community has been a thing post-slavery, right? Madam C.J. Walker, an entrepreneur. When we think about the millionaires, right, across the wealth across our country, it has been built, right, from entrepreneurs, right? Business ownership, entrepreneurship is one of the keys, right? One of the paths to wealth building. But before you can even become an entrepreneur, before you can get into the stock market, there has to be a mindset and a belief, which is where you were going with your question, I believe, one of the ways that this is possible. And I believe from my experience in the financial services industry, 10 plus years working with people with $5 in their accounts to $5 million in their accounts, there's a value placed on money that differentiates, the wealthy from, in some cases, the not wealthy. And that mindset is my money will work for me, right? I will work not harder for my money than my money will work for me. And what does that mean? There are millionaires who go to work every single day, the millionaire next door, right? People who earn a median American income or a middle, American income, $75,000, $80,000, that are millionaires, right? There's a mindset of saving. There's a mindset of investing in real estate, investing in stocks. But there's also a very high value placed on education, right? Not just your typical standard, high school, college education, but information, obtaining knowledge, and then most importantly, applying that knowledge. So Dr. Kelly, I didn't want to cut you off, but I wanted to add that thought in before we can get to investing in stocks, before we can get to wealth, we have to, one, recognize that currency, money is just a tangible representation of creativity. Money is a tangible representation of creativity. Ideas, right, have generated billionaires. Facebook, right? Amazon, as you alluded to earlier, that was an idea that was iterated and invested in years and years and years and years before now Amazon is the world's largest marketplace, right? So I want to encourage anyone out there that's thinking I can only get it through stock, right? I can only get it through this. You can make $1 million, right? You can be a millionaire. That's quite frankly easy. But the hard part is changing people's belief systems that I can't do it unless. So I wanted to just pour that in there. Does that resonate with anyone? I see.
That's good. That's really good. Mindset.
Definitely.
Yep. Now, go ahead on. Who was saying something?
Dr. Kelly.
Dr. Kelly, what was you going to say?
I was going to address the issue that you were saying of, is it possible? Is it possible to come in with a small amount of money and start making money? And I want to talk about how I had a client who started back in May. And she shared with me after the fact that she came in with her last $2,300, right? And she shared this with me recently. And she said, I just wanted to let you know that I now have, I think she said $68,000 in two different, total in two different accounts, right? Now, why is that significant? Number one, because she started with such a low amount. Number two, because her first trade in the market was 1 week after her first class with me. She invested, what was it, $141. I just went back and checked while the brother was speaking. I went back and checked. She invested $141 on May 8th. She cashed out $345 on May 13th. Okay, that doesn't seem like a lot, but that's I think, what was it, 100 and something times her money. Let me see what that was. It was an ROI of like 100 and something percent return on her money, like 144% ROI. Now, the idea that we need to go from is she started with $141 her first trade after her first session in my class. And she turned that $141 into $345 in 5 days. Think about that. If she had invested $10,000, she would have still got 144% return on her money in 5 days. So the education is what exactly correct. Robert, you're exactly correct. The education is what's needed. But then also, to piggyback on what you were saying, is that some people need to be brought out of a debilitating mindset of, oh, that's not for me. That's what white people do. Black people don't invest. And that's something I'm dealing with now because I want to grow my business, of course, right? But I'm dealing with a lot of Black people who don't believe it's possible. Right. I have an aunt who said, oh, no, I could never understand all that. I have a sister I talked to last week. She said, well, Black people, we just don't invest, and I'm like, wow, that is such a mindset that we do have to overcome so that they can be open-minded enough to take the class to invest in themselves, to learn the skill set so they can move forward. So you're definitely right, but to answer the question, yes, you could take a small amount of money, multiply that, and then build it on up. So
okay, so as you look at it, I don't know the numbers. I wish I had the stats, so maybe we could pull it up in terms of the value, the buying power that Black people have now. I know it's in the billions, isn't it, guys? Who knows that? I know it's in the billions, trillion, maybe
trillions.
Trillions. So we're already investing, but we're not getting a return, right? We're not getting a return, a valuable return anyway. So if I go out and I buy those retros, those Jordans that for $200, which I do it, so I can't say anything about. But if I go out and buy those retros, and I know that I could take that same money and put it into Nike. Same money, and you might say it's I think it goes back to, like we said, educating, even starting with our kids. Even starting with our kids to let them know, hey, listen, I understand what you're saying. I know the Xbox is coming out. I know the Nintendo is coming out, but listen, son, that game costs what, about $300-$400? I think about $300-$400. What if you take this time around and just invest that money into the Xbox and whatever,
Sony,
and then come back and purchase it. So if it goes up, the stock goes up, or whatever you buying in on, and I get it. Sometimes a lot of people, because I get that way, where I get a little, when you see Amazon, I think it's you buying in at what, 2,000 or 1,800
3,000 now.
share.
3,000.
Yeah, that's a little discouraging because you're like, oh my God, that's a whole lot of money. And so what I'm saying is that maybe we have to educate, start low, like Miss
Dr.
Kelly say, start low in our investments, but first have the mindset to say that you want to do better. Before this podcast came on, and one of the commercials I'd done, it was about, I want to make money while I'm asleep. I don't want to, before I take my toe and put on that cold ground in the morning when you're getting up, I want to make sure that my stock, if it went up, I've made some money. You know what I mean? So should we have that same mindset to get out of this old way of thinking, to think that, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I have to get up and go punch the clock to make money. And that's the only way I'm going to make it, if I get up and go punch the clock, and not understanding that my money should be making money for me. Go ahead.
It's 1.4 trillion 2019, real quick, in terms of African American buying power. I just wanted to add that.
I got a question. Someone said there are two ways to build wealth: living below your means in order to stockpile money for investment. So what about that person who want to live like the Jones? Like they want to go buy this big house because their neighbor got a big house. So then they're not, they're living below their means. So do we have a lot of Black people in the community that's living, living above their means? They're not living below their means. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I like to play devil's advocate, and to piggyback off what Brother Johnson was saying. I like to play devil's advocate. I like to hit them with, when they say, "Oh, I go to work every day. I don't want to spend $200-$300." I tell them, "Look, man, you got money for those cigarettes, that loud pack, that liquor. Maybe you shouldn't drink Hennessy this weekend. Maybe you should drink E&J and take that extra money and invest it. Maybe you shouldn't get a pack of roll-ups. Maybe you should smoke your loud pack out of a pipe and take the roll-up money and use that for stocks." And I try not to harm, but I kind of look to embarrass them. I'll be like, "Look, if you got a job, you blessed.
Yeah, you
can go to work every day. Look, you're going to earn money every day. I know you want to earn more money, but what about the money? I'm an immigrant. I wasn't legally allowed to work in the United States. I was almost 24 years old. So it's hard for somebody to tell me that they don't make enough money, because if I make $12, I'm investing 7 of it and living off of 5. I used to drink heavy. I wasn't drinking the Hennessy. I was drinking, give me a little small bottle of E&J, take the rest of the money, invest it. And I think that's how I approach people that tell me, oh, I don't have enough money, I don't have $300 for this. I said, man, if you go to the store and buy a cup of coffee for $1, take another $1 and invest that. Just do it. You don't got to have a big amount.
So
Start with
why is
$1.
this important? Like, why is this important that we become more invested in these platforms and these ideas and this information? Why is it so important for us as Black folks or Black people to look into this? I'm gonna say a new way to some people. It's a new way in this new world of Bitcoin, of stocks. They're making it easy now, where all you need to do is just go to Cash App, download your Cash App to your phone, and you can literally go. And I think Cash App has like an extension where you can. Is it an app within an app? How is that working? Where you can go and invest into, like we do. What do we do?
Okay. Well, no, Cash App is just a platform. It has the various stocks that you can invest in.
Right.
And then they have other platforms as well, like Robinhood and Stash and other ones as well.
And I don't want to take away from you guys' platform, because what I want to do is...
Yeah, because Richard was trying to jump in.
First, we have to put this in historical context. The reason why that we're in this situation is not because we're lazy and we're bums or we're niggas. Excuse me for saying that, but we want better, but we just don't have. We've been systematically, if you want to say that, oppressed. Back in the 1930s, and I'll just be quick about this, about the history, because we lived this. We don't necessarily need to know it, but for those who don't know it, back in the 1930s, for example, they have denied us the GI Bill. Well, let me say this. Let me start back from the reason why there's a race gap between white people and Black people, or any other race. White are a lot higher, is not because of, like I was saying, about us being niggas. It's just the fact of that there is a systematic way that they have gained wealth. And like I was saying, back in the 1930s, they systematically didn't give us loans, did a lot of redlining. There was a lot of Jim Crow, and they put us in a ghetto or in a certain environment. And in that certain environment that they called a ghetto, they stripped us of our resources. So now everybody, and it's been passed on from generation to generation, because they've consistently done that in America, they've systematically taken our wealth away. Anytime that there's any kind of Black person who's had a lot of wealth, or a Black community that has a lot of wealth, it's been systematically taken away. Now, the number one way now, we don't call it Jim Crow, we don't call it slavery. The number one way that wealth is not being built is based upon administrative segregation and administrative issues. Excuse me, gets a car but doesn't have a license. He gets a license and the car doesn't have insurance. Or he has a brilliant mind, he can do a whole lot of stuff and he's creative and everything else, but he can't afford the license or the insurance to do carpentry or whatever. So the barriers of entry are high in our community. But what I was trying to say about how, putting in historical context, we have a survival mentality. We love to just survive on what we have. So trying to get our people, out of that survival mentality will help us to know, to do better, to want better. We spend as soon as we get it, and we spend as soon as we get it because we haven't had it as a people. And there's a big trust factor in our community with trusting other Black folks, believe that they're on some other survival mentality. So why should I trust somebody who's highly educated, who's highly experienced? Hey, we've been through that. We've done that. And we've lost. So we have to put in historical context that our mindset, especially people who are descendants of slaves who are just, we haven't had it. We also don't have a system or support. When you want to go to school, school is not about just, or going to college rather, not about just going to college and being smart. It's about having support. You got to have support in order to get there. You have to have a place to live. You have to have somebody encouraging you, maybe some tutor, some mentor, or maybe you have to have the desire to have some kind of discipline. So if we put that in this context, we'll understand where our people is at. But I know I'm talking a lot, so I'll wrap it up real quick. But it's all about organizing. We haven't organized ourselves structurally, so we have an actual community that is based upon trying to lift up our people economically. See, I've never met any of you guys before, but I will eventually. But I'm building a database with my group on Facebook where I'm trying to find the resources in our community and then point somebody who's trying to do something with themselves for those resources. There is so many resources out there, Black engineers, Black accountants, and they are organized as a whole, but we don't try to leverage those resources. So my job is to help my job as a trade is consulting, is to point those folks, those resources, so we can actually build some.
I want to hear from Joi.
I have a couple comments. Let me read really, really quickly. Very interesting. Ronald S. He says, and I appreciate your comment, Ronald, as well as Chris and Quentin. The number one difference to generational wealth between white America and Black America is two categories. After World War I, white America had access to mortgages and the GI Bill, which Black America did not have access to. Today, those baby boomers who bought their homes in the 50s at the average of $11,000 have homes valued at $500K. The second is life insurance. Also, he said, most Black people don't waste their money on Xbox, blunts, and liquor. You are looking at Black people too negative for me. Also, Joe Kennedy says, Cash App allows you to buy Bitcoin too. Thank you all for the comment.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that, we get it, but they do. There is a lot of alcohol buying. There is a lot of Xbox games. That's just a reality, whether we want to face it or not. It is a reality. But my thing is, I guess what I'm saying is, we're talking about building wealth, but I'm saying because of you guys' expertise in the areas of what you do in terms of whether it be stock, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be learning how to trade, whatever it is, that's to some people is foreign, but it's something that is necessary in this new age that we're living in. Here we go where things are closing down. So I guess I asked the question, and I'm gonna bring it back up. Why is it important for us to look into these new avenues in terms of us building wealth? Why is this important? Can anybody address that? Because see, there's somebody out there who's looking right now, and they want to know, why is it important? They could be sitting on some money and they don't know. Why is it important? I hear this. I've been hearing this. I've been hearing people talk about Bitcoin, and even as myself, but I really don't understand it. I've been hearing about trading or stocks. But I really don't understand it. Why is it important? Can anybody address the why is important?
Joi, I want to hear from Joi. Do you have any? Can you address that in a little way for me? Joi, are you there? All right. Well, anyone, you guys can jump in.
Let me say a little
comment, and then I'll add something.
Okay.
Let me say this slight on why we should jump in. I think as a mindset, we have to understand and actually overstand this. When we talk money is not just cash. Money is debt, it's credit, it's real estate, it's bullion, it's artwork. Money is everywhere. So when we talk about, we just want cash is like kind of like the lowest form of currency to me. And I think we have to just get our heads around that, that money is an abundance of things. And you could be sitting on 100 acres with oil underneath of it. You have to think with that, like Brother Johnson was saying, mindset. And to kind of speak about the person that commented about the liquor and stuff like that, I wasn't trying to say that Black people drink. Like I said, if I was kind of thinking like when people tell me they don't have money to invest, I was saying that if you do drink something a little cheaper, put the extra money away. Or if you do smoke, use another apparatus, save you the $3-4 on the blunts or the roll-ups and invest that. But I think overall the mindset of money is not just cash. It's a whole heap of things. Money can be the picture you painted and to go sell. That's money. You know what I mean? Everything is quote unquote money. And we just have to get our heads around, there's a famous video on YouTube where this guy, I think he's in the islands, and he shows how to make $10,000. And he literally starts by going to the grocery store and picking up a penny off the ground. And he picks up that penny and trades a mint for that penny and takes that mint and sells that mint for 10 cents. And he starts rolling like that. And at the end of the video, he hits $10,000 from one penny.
Wow.
So we are the most resourceful people on the planet. Everybody taps us across the whole planet. I mean, on the whole earth. The melanated people are the most talented people on the earth, and everybody takes from us. We just have to start thinking on another level. We have to think like, okay, we really the rich ones, and we constantly giving our money away. So if we just put away $2 or $3 just in this generation, we don't have to become billionaires. But if we can just become millionaires and have the kids coming up, start giving the kids The Art of War, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Dr. Boyce Watkins and his books right now, while they 15, 16, we can change the wealth gap. But it starts with understanding what money is. Money is not just cash.
So I want to read a little bit of statistics real quick. According to the Pew Research Center, 61% of white families use the stock market to grow their money. It said the number is significantly lower for Black families at 31%. It said only 33.5% of Black households own stocks in 2019.
So how do we change that? So we understand, because I want to leave. Whenever we leave this platform, I want people to get it. I want them to get it. So we understand. And what happens is that when we're done, I want everyone that's on the platform who do business to say how to get connected with your business so that they can learn from you on how this thing works. Because we could just get it talking, but you guys obviously is the end solution where you're going to show them what it is they need to do. So we want you guys to leave your contact information. But okay, so going in this, I want to go here with this too. And I guess what I'm saying is that, just that mindset of, and I have to stay here, that mindset of I can't do this because we don't do this, meaning Black folks, we don't invest, like we just seen the statistics. We don't invest in stocks because I can't do it. I have bills. But if we look at college itself, I was looking at, what is his name on the Shark Tank, who owns the basketball team? What's his name?
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban made a statement. He said that I didn't go to college he said I took classes. He said I didn't do the whole thing. He said, in fact, I didn't find it necessary. He said, but what I did was I looked for classes that I needed and I paid for those classes. He said I paid for those classes so that he wouldn't have a whole lot of debt. He paid for that specific class so that he can learn what he needed to learn, and then he'll go to, the next class, whatever it is. And he just paid out of his pocket if he had to work a job and just pay for it, just pay for that class to get the necessity. So I'm saying we're taught in our community that go to school, get your education, become somebody. You know what I mean? That's what we thought. If we go to school, get an education, we actually become someone. As though that is the roadmap to success. And that's how we look at success today in this capitalist world. We look at success as if you, I mean, to some degree, not always, but just if you go to school, that's what success looks like. But yet, a lot of us that went to school are in debt. We are so much debt that it's crazy. You know what I mean? We still, some of us come out of school and don't even stick with the degree to what we went to school for. We're doing something else. I know people who now are millionaires on social media, but went to get a degree in psychology. You get what I mean? Psychiatry, whatever it is. They went, I mean, total shift. But they got all this debt now. And all they had to do was just see what they see now, or just sit back. You know what I mean? So what am I saying? I'm driving the point. What is the point? That same mindset that we have that's been handed down, and a lot of it's been handed down through society. It's not necessarily our parents. It could be through school. You know, hey, go to school, get a good education. You get a good education, you get a good job. You know what I mean? You get a good job. So what am I saying? Should we start teaching that there's other ways to make money? There's other ways. That's not success. Yeah. That's not how success is spelled out because you got a degree. It's not. That's not what success is. So what I'm saying is, should we be teaching something totally different now? Should we be telling kids the real deal? You know, what's real out here in this society? When you live in a capitalist society, America is a capitalist society. If it is about the have and the have-nots in this country that we live in, it's about that. If you don't have, you out of it. You pretty much out of it. So go ahead and elaborate on that.
Yeah, because I think you're asking a very, very important question. But I want to go back to your first question of why it's important for African Americans and Black people to embrace and pursue wealth. One, because of all of the statistics that we heard earlier, right? The trillions of dollars in Black spending power. Here's the thing. You're either playing chess or you are a pawn in someone else's chess game. For the most part, as Blacks, we have been leveraged as pawns, right? In the entertainment industry, in the sports industry, right? And now we're growing and climbing in various industries across the board, right? So when we think about why wealth building is important, it's important because you don't want to repeat the generational cycles that maybe you can't. Example, I come from a single parent household. My mother didn't get to finish high school, let alone finish college, let alone go into corporate America. So one of the things that we're doing, you know, and I think it's important to do this, is ensure that as Black people, we pursue education, and that it's not just the traditional where you were going. So to pull it up to where you are asking, education today is happening in very non-traditional ways. Coaching, for example, I'm a coach. I coach people on transformational mindset to embrace, recognize the patterns that have not worked, and to embrace new patterns to build a successful life. That means a successful career. That means a successful business, right? So we have to embrace building wealth because it's possible, right? Our peers, our white counterparts in America, this capitalist society, have in fact demonstrated a blueprint, right? If you start a business, right, you build a community. I heard someone reference we need a community earlier. I think it was Richard. We have to build a tribe, a community of people like those of us on this call. We don't have to agree on everything, but we have to support each other in our individual pursuits. So first and foremost, wealth is a game. Either you're being played or you are playing. You can achieve your wealth through your career. For me personally, I've achieved my financial status, if you will, whatever that may be, because of my career investing in stocks, investing in real estate, investing in other people, right? And that's the key that I think we miss. We don't talk about the importance of investing, not just financially, but informationally, right? Mentorship, advocacy, sponsorship, and other people of color, right? Some of my biggest coaches, mentors, and sponsors have not been Black. They have been, you know, white and or other. They've been women, right? Or white men, right? Some of my best and most learned from advocates have been white. But it's not my job to take that information and share it with my community. What they do with it is up to them. If I give you information, Vivion, and of how to make $1 million, right? And you accept it and you take it and you run with it, a success. But if I give Richard that same information and he chooses to sit it on the table and leverage his past as an indicator of his future, guess what? It's a waste of my time. So I just wanted to to say
Can I just
we have to invest in multiple ways, not just finances. Again, Vivion, you were so spot on when you're like, listen, career paths are different. Investing pathways are different. Save 25. I made my first $1,000, if you will, by saving $25 a week. It took me like 5 to 6 months at 28, 29 to get it. But ever since then, I'm like, oh, I can do 1,000. Let me try to get to 5,000. Let me get to 10,000. Let me get to 100,000. Right. And one last thing before I hand the mic over. As a career professional who's now an entrepreneur, your career, and this is my brand, Corporate Dropout, right? Lose the mentality that I work for a company. Expect at some point to lose your job. Expect at some point to be downsized. Expect at some point to outgrow the job, right? That's what I teach my clients. Embrace your ingenuity, embrace the skills, the competencies, the relationships you've developed in corporate America to now build your own, but we can't do it alone. A lot of my white counterparts, our white counterparts, they come together and say, you know what? I got a lot of land. I got 7 plots on this land. Let me reach out to 6 of my friends. I'll build me a small house here. And if I can get 6 of my friends to build a house on this land, guess what? I am a wealthy person, but I'm enabling and empowering other people to build their wealth. So I just want to say that is, we have to think about wealth in different ways. Before you can get to the stock market and Bitcoin and all those other things, you got to have $1,000 in the bank. You got to have $5,000 in the bank. Have a year's 6 months worth of savings so that when, as this pandemic has showed us, you lose your job, you aren't stressed out and you can be focused on building something versus focused on finding something, right?
Oh, wow, good. That's good. That's good.
And that's what I was gonna, if I could jump in, I was gonna say, I think what I've been seeing, especially from the younger generations, is a knack and an interest, an intrinsic interest to be entrepreneurial, have an entrepreneurial spirit. In all fairness, as we have tried to put this in a historical context, we've had to grow, we've had to evolve, and that includes our mindset, including the continuous efforts. For every time we take 2 steps up, we have the system somehow always bringing us a step back or 3 steps back, but we continue to push through, right? So I do see, especially with, platforms making these things more accessible, you don't need all of the, if you use the analogy of the chess game, you don't need the same strategy that was built before us by other people who were already ahead of the game. People like Heinz, Hilton, Disney, they are way ahead of the game when it comes to generational wealth. So I wanted to say that. And then on top of that is a question in terms of, so what does wealth look like for our generation, for our people? Because it's one thing, like one of the guests was saying, to have money, but it's another thing to have wealth. And then it's another thing to have generational wealth. So how do I know that I'm wealthy? Is it because I invested in the stock market and now I have $100,000 sitting in my bank, or I worked long enough where I was able to save in my 403b, 401k, and now I can will that off to my children? Like where do we make those milestones, or how do we make those markers to know that we're in this place or we're in that place? And I think RW3, you wanted to add on.
Yeah, real quick. I have a definition for generational wealth. It represents assets passed down from one generation to the next. Instead, their inheritance could go towards income generating investments, assets which appreciate in value, or even towards purchasing their first home. So that's like the definition of generational wealth.
And let me add to that before RW3 go in. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his name was Miles Monroe. He come from the Bahamas. He died. He actually died in a car. That was terrible how he died. But he talked about generational wealth. But it was one thing that he talked about that stuck with me for years and years to come. He said he was riding in a limousine. He was going to, one of his conferences or whatever he does. It was based on that. But he had this guy from, I think he was, I want to say Chinese or Japanese. I don't know what he was. But he was riding with the car with him. And it was a statement that came up about black people. And he said that black people never be able to get wealth the way that they're going. And he looked at him and he asked him, like, you know, what do you mean by that? He said, because black people, they think that if they work a job, that that's going to make them successful. He said, we as the who that I don't know if he was Korean. He said, believe in entrepreneurship because our daughters and our sons, we can shift the business in their hands. And he said that the black people, if they keep the same mindset of thinking just a job is going to get them through, and then he said because of even if you went and got a degree, you can't take your son and put him in your GM job. You know what I mean? He can't sit in your GM job. But if you own a business, you can take your son. If something was to happen to you or whatever, you can pass that business along. And he said that that's the frame of mind that our people should have, learning how, like my one brother said, that he's not from originally from America. There's so many people who come over to America who believe in opportunity in terms of entrepreneurship. They in fact, their minds go straight to entrepreneurship quicker than they do in working a job. If you know Africans, I mean, Indians, whatever that they are, that's the first thing that's on their mind. When you go into the malls, what do you see? You see foreigners in the malls owning businesses. I mean, you guys see it every day, even in the black community. What do you see? You see foreigners running businesses, and then they'll have their sons and daughters helping them run that business because that's what they believe, that's what's going to sustain them instead of working for someone else. There's nothing wrong with working for other people. If that's what you feel that you need to do, then that's fine. So I'm not negating, I'm not jumping on that, but I'm just saying that if we have more of a mindset to understand that I want to hand my business down to my son. I want to teach my son how to work.
It's an old quote that says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children, their children, their children's children.
Yeah.
So that's generational wealth.
That's right.
So that's what in a nutshell.
That's exactly. So go ahead, RW3. I think you.
I got a quick comment that I'm gonna read a couple of from our listeners. I think the brother earlier, he mentioned he wanted to bring some historical context, and I agree, Tone, when we talked about the traditional route of education with respect to college and everything. But I believe there's been such an emphasis through our generations because, you know, we were didn't have the opportunity to be educated historically. I mean, in order to vote, they had literacy tests following Reconstruction. We couldn't read or write, and people came from the North to educate and teach, teach Black folk. So historically, we put such an emphasis on, education where we lean toward the traditional route. But of course, I do agree as we move forward, we have to diversify, how we are educated. And I do agree that college is not necessarily the route, but we definitely have to continue to put an emphasis on being educated, because sometimes when we don't know something, the dominant culture tends to use what we don't know against us. Now, Mr. Pete, thank you, Quentin. Quentin says from Facebook, those numbers are skewed towards workers whose employers offer some form of 401k, not individual stock investment. 78% of all American workers are living paycheck to paycheck. Considering that we only make up 13% of the population, this clearly details that the generalizations that you all are painting toward Black folk isn't relegated to us. Thank you, Quentin, for that. Fareed says, yes, teach, but we need a hand in the melting pot. Maria Makai, please forgive me, sister, if I pronounce your name incorrectly. She says, absolutely, there are other ways to make money. And Quentin said to Robert, yes, great words, Robert. And to Ray Humphrey, spot on, Robert, very well stated. We appreciate you all's comment.
Yeah, see, there's an old saying that they used to say when I used to work for Chrysler. They used to make the statement. They used to say, "You're 3 paychecks away from being broke." They just say you're 3 paychecks from being homeless, right?
Yeah,
3 paychecks. The average person is 3. I don't know if there's statistics to bring it into fact, but that was an old saying that you would hear. Oh man, we just 3 paychecks of being homeless. So I'm saying is going back to the stocks, going back to what it is you guys do. You're trying to show people that here's another way to make money. Here's a way to make money while you sleep. To adopt this new way of thinking. So there may be people out here who's interested in it. We're not talking to challenge each other's opinion. You know, we're not doing that. What we're doing is we're trying to open up the discussion so that we can show you that there are other ways to make money. We're in agreement with this. Is not a yes or no. This is not it's none of that. We're just we're throwing out there that there are people out there who don't understand that there are other ways to make money. That's what we're saying. There's other ways to build wealth. You know what I mean? And these gentlemen, these women, ladies and gentlemen, that they have those educating backgrounds where they can teach you how you guys can make this thing happen. That's why they're here on the platform. So we're not battling each other and what they believe. It's not about that. It's about saying, hey, listen, here's a platform. Here's some people that can educate you, that can show you how you can build.
Yes,
you can build. You can build in this new way. To some people, it's a new way, and that's what we're doing. Just to make that clear. So, if there's anyone else who have anything else that they need to say,
Yeah, I would love to. I think we need to kind of hone in on what wealth is, how to build it. So one is that
your microphone sounds a little out, a little bit,
a little low.
Let me come a little. I guess maybe that will help.
Yeah, it's better. That's better.
Is it better?
Yeah, that's better.
I said one of the ways that we can do this is investments, as the sister said it earlier. The other one is just planning, strategic planning. One of the biggest ways that you can do this is what you're buying at the store, and then have a system where a lot of people just waste food. If you have a better system, without going into a whole lot of detail, saving money with food, you should still smoke or drink or kick it or do whatever you want to do, kick back. But if you save more money on food, you might have more money left over to prioritize and save and so on. But savings also is another one. Understanding how your taxes, insurance, passing on credit, and home ownership. Now, back in the 1930s, they knew this. That's why they gave all the loans and to white people, is because they knew that the number one way that we can get a middle class built was on home ownership. So, and how you get home ownership is have good credit. And how you build wealth and actually have some extra money is not just living on your wages, but just living on your credit also. A lot of folks don't respect credit. They don't like credit. They're like, they look down on credit. And that's one of the things that we have to, jump all over. But I think the barriers of entry, real quick, is ego within our community, is lack of support, us not understanding where our resources are at, trust, organization as a whole. IT is my background and consulting is my background. And the biggest one is that we are trying to recreate the wheel so many different times in so many different ways instead of coming together. And then when you actually tell people, hey, let's try to do something together. You can still have yours, I can still have mine, but let's just come together and actually make something happen. You see Target and Walmart across the street from each other, but there's still Target and Walmart.
Yeah.
But we don't have enough humbleness in our community to put our egos aside and say, you have yours, I have mine, and let's reason together and make something happen. The other thing is community, is that when somebody, like I was saying before, if somebody wants to create generational wealth, they don't have enough community to make it happen. For example, and this is my last example, is that you could put your children on your credit at 13 years old and start building their credit. Build their credit young. And when they build their credit young, then they're able to, by the time they're 18 years old, their credit's going to be 850, 800, and so on. So a lot of folks don't know how to do that part, and that's how you can transfer your credit to the next generation and actually build a stronger, more open up doors and more opportunity for our people. So what I'm doing at the
Yeah,
academic.
you just told me something I didn't know. So
See that?
Yeah,
that's
see?
That's
That's
what we
good
try. See,
information.
so guys, listen. So my job as the host is to throw out things so that we can get a response. So my job is to be neutral on how I feel. My job, and this is to the audience. I don't have an opinion in this. My job is to just throw out questions and just to get, because if I didn't say anything, everybody just for 1 minute don't say anything. This is what happened.
Yeah, silence.
We'll just be looking at each other.
I
So
don't know.
my
I don't think that will be a problem for you.
you're right. so my thing is that
right. So we got a lot of
my
people.
job is to just throw out these questions or whatever it may be, just to get some things sparked up so people can
Yeah.
start talking.
Most
That's what my job is. So I don't want
definitely.
anybody to take anything personal about what we say. If we say that this system and the black folks are low down until they get some money, I mean, I'm throwing it out there so we can get a response.
Can I just say one thing real quick? I'm
Go
sorry
ahead.
to cut you off, though. Just real quick. We have to stop blaming ourselves for this condition. We are still responsible, but the government and some of the people who are players in the system actually have an agenda for white supremacy. And this is not something that was just us being, smoking, drinking, having kids out of wedlock and all that stuff. There's a systematic way that we are in the condition that we're in. There's a reason why we were in the ghetto. It's not because we couldn't afford to get out of the ghetto. It's because there was barriers of entry that stopped us from getting in there. For example, there was have you ever heard of sundown towns? Sundown towns is an example where if you were, they did in East St. Louis, where they would not let anybody outside the borders of East St. Louis who were African American unless, or after sundown, unless they were working or unless they're doing something productive for members outside of their community. And they had all these zoning laws and all these zoning issues that stopped black people from opening up black businesses in their own community. And that's what stopped us from gaining wealth and bridging the gap between white people and black people. It's not just because, there is laziness within our community, but that is, and it didn't happen in 1859 or in 1900. It happened, it's still happening now, but it was really, really prevalent across the United States from the 1950s and 1960s. And we only until the 1970s and the early 1980s where we actually started to change that. But we still have huge sectors of parts of the United States that are remnants of white supremacy. And they're all in ghettos and big towns that we have. We're only in about 15 different states. And half the African-American population is in the South. So when Obamacare, for example, passed, and people's like, well, Obama didn't do anything for me. Well, half of the population of people didn't get health care who were supposed to get health care because they're under Republican leadership. And I'm not trying to say I'm a Republican or a Democrat because they don't necessarily represent either one. Neither one of them represent me, period. But I'm just saying we should stop blaming us because there's systematic ways that they have taken our wealth away.
That's right.
And there's better ways for us to get it back. Investing, passing credit down, insurance is one of the biggest ones right there. We can actually start insuring our older people. And then that is the quickest, most efficient, cheapest way to gain money almost immediately if we insure each other, especially the older people, and then split the money. And then start our business and make it stronger.
And I digress. So what we're going to do now, guys, is that I want to go around the panel and I want you guys to give out your information. Briefly give out your information. See, guys, again, this is about having a conversation. And now that there's an old, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. They say that it's been used throughout the government for years. It's cause. They call it what is it? Cause. What is it? Cause.
The reaction.
Cause, reaction, solution. Cause, reaction, solution. It's been played out through our society. And I think that's what we see now with the COVID, but that's a whole nother thing. Cause, reaction, solution. So here's the thing. We put out the cause. This is what we're throwing out. We're putting out that, listen, here's a new way. Here's a new way to some people. Here's a new way to access what? Wealth. Here's a new way, and I don't necessarily say a quicker way, but here's a new way. You know, is how you look at it. But it's a new way. Now, here's the reaction of the people. You know, whatever it is that they're saying, you know, in the timeline, whatever it may be. But now we have a solution. Now, here's the solution. The solution is each one of these individuals that's on this platform, or some of them, at least 3, 4 of them on this platform, is going to give you their solution in terms of how you can make this thing happen, and you're going to have to contact them. So for whoever's out there who want to know what the solution is, and a way to help build for your portfolio, to help make things a little bit more different in your home, I'm on each one of you guys to go around and talk about what it is you do and how they can get in contact with you. Whoever want to start, who we want to start with?
We can start at the top. Robert.
Ladies first.
Okay, ladies. Okay, yes.
Miss
Dr. Kelli.
Dr. Kelli. Let's start with Dr. Kelli.
Hey everyone. So I am Dr. Kelli. I own the Stock Options Trading Academy. That is the website as well. stockoptionstradingacademy.com. Okay. So you're more than welcome to reach out to me there to find information about what I do. There's also a Facebook group, Stock Options Trading Academy. I encourage everyone to join that group. It is free, and I always try to drop informational material in that group for free so that people can at least start learning about stock options and how we use it. I always offer to have anyone who's in that group get in the mastermind group, which is where you actually take one of the classes that I offer. So again, the Stock Options Trading Academy in Facebook, as well as the website, so that you can start learning how to take the money. And my goal is to teach my clients how to take the money that we pull out of the stock market and put it directly into real estate. So I went ahead and bought a duplex in Alabama, and it's one of the college, Auburn, Alabama. So I bought a duplex out there, and basically now that is going to create generational wealth because I bought it with money from the stock market. You know, I told you I had a really big day in the stock market. I took all that money out, turned around and put it into this duplex. And now that's going to be something I hand down to my son's children, because I heard something many, many years ago, and it never left me. It's a quote, and it says, "What you do today affects 7 generations into your future."
Wow.
And that never left me when I heard that. So I take it seriously. And so that's why I always think, okay, what can I do to make sure that my great grandkids are in a position where they don't have to work as hard as I did? They don't have to go through the system in terms of go to school, get a good education so you can get a good job. They won't have to do that. They'll have generational wealth because of money from the stock market, okay, that turned around and created this duplex. And then that is going to create more duplexes and more commercial buildings. And I'm just going to roll that over and over and over. So just that one amazing hit that I did in the market where I pulled out 100 G's, that right there is wealth gap changing right there. And for the DuCloux timeline, it's completely changed from here on out. You know, also my son, he's 21. He does teach people it as well. And I'm gonna say this really quickly. My son, he graduated high school when he was 12 and started college at 12. And then he finished college at 15 with 3 degrees. Wow. He started his own math tutoring company for a year. And then he went back to UC Irvine and got his 4th degree and was done by the age of 19.
Okay. We're
gonna bring him. We're gonna want him on. I'm gonna have a show for.
We need him on the show.
I'm gonna talk to you later after this.
Okay, sure.
Dr. Kelli. So guys, we gotta if you guys can go around, we got like a minute each, because we got another show coming on right after this one. All right, who want to go next?
I can go next if you'd like. Just real quick, though, you can go to AA Financial Literacy. And look for, just Google, or excuse me, put that in your Facebook search, and you can find that. Also, the best way to make money almost immediately is through interest, and you can earn interest with debit cards, not credit cards, debit cards. but also you can earn rewards through money almost immediately through interest through credit cards also. The other thing is establishing business credit that might help us catapult so we can have generational wealth. But I want to overemphasize the point of investments, passing credit down to the next generation, and having working on personal credit and home ownership. So AA financial literacy is the name of the way that you can find the African American group buying and wealth building.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, who's next?
All righty. Okay,
Maybe you want to say that.
All right, Robert, you can go ahead.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to participate in the conversation. That is actually the first step, is having the conversation, because then you acknowledge, if I can give you sort of 3 A's, acknowledge my situation, right? Acknowledge where I am based on where I've been, but even more importantly, acknowledge where I want to go, right? Second, assess my financial situation, assess where I'm spending my money. Maybe assess where, if you're working for a company and you have a 401k, 403b, am I maximizing that opportunity? Because again, if you're going to go work for a company, get everything, including tuition reimbursement, 401k, 403b, every benefit that you can get, maximize that, right? Because that is, and those are steps that if you're playing chess, you will leverage on your path to wealth building. For personally, I believe my goal is to, my purpose in life is to help close the wealth gap by equipping, empowering, and educating, right, Black and underrepresented talent with the tools, the resources, the competencies, the language that will open doors and give them sort of that equity, right, going into that interview, going into, to starting the business, right, stronger, more confident, because in actuality, confidence is the key to wealth building. Right, confidence is the key to wealth building. You can reach me on several mediums. On Facebook, I am a part of a quad, 3 Queens and a King. We have a Facebook group called Black Financial Literacy, where we provide insights, information, tools, and tips similar to this conversation to equip Black and African American people with tools, resources that they need to help inform, right, build in knowledge, and give them the tools to be equipped to then take action, because I firmly believe that knowledge is powerful, right? Action is actually the game changer. Knowledge is power, but action is the game changer. You can reach me on Instagram at I Am the Corporate Dropout. I also have a Facebook group, I Am the Corporate Dropout, or the Corporate Dropout. My website is www.rhjconsultinggroup.com. And again, I Am the Corporate Dropout. I'm very active on social media. If you are looking to elevate, the number one thing that I work with my clients and people is elevating the vision for your life. So many people have goals. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be wealthy. But what is the vision? Why do you want to do that? It's because I want to create 6 or 7 generations down security, right? And I do firmly believe, as someone who is the product of a mother and a father who didn't go to college, education is essential. Whether you choose to go to college, whether you choose to go to a trade school, whether you choose to learn via YouTube and Google, master whatever the thing is that you are interested in, because true freedom is giving our children the flexibility to go to college and study whatever they want to study, and not just study business because they feel like that's how I'm going to get out, not just study education because my mom was a teacher, not just study law because my father wants me to be a lawyer. Giving our children the empowerment, the autonomy, and the luxury and privilege of going to college or going to a trade school for what they're passionate about, that is, my friends, what true wealth and legacy building is. So thank you again for the opportunity, and I appreciate the platform.
Guys, we thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Diggs, you can go ahead. Thank you.
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Robert said real quick. I'm gonna say that it is about legacy. We always talk about money and finances, but we should stick with that word that Brother Robert said is about legacy. You can reach me. Email is diggs404@gmail.com, or you can YouTube me. I go by The Real J Diggs. On that channel, I teach a lot of investment stuff, stock market, and overall just getting your economic situation in order. I also do every Saturday. I do from about 10 o'clock to about 6 o'clock in the evening. I do one-on-one calls, getting people set up with the stock market or anything really. I've put together a whole pool of knowledge about taxes and credit and everything like that. Stock market, real estate. I've really been a bookworm over the last 12, 15 years. Like I said, I was only able to start working in the US when I was 24. My accent even sounds really good. I sound American because I studied the American accent really well. But aside from building wealth, but this is in addition to building wealth, I think for our people to understand, be careful and be mindful of what you put in your mouth. Be careful of the food you eat, because you won't be able to reach this mindset when you're eating poison. You have to remember that. Make sure you're drinking water. Make sure you're eating the right things, because it's hard to have a conversation with somebody when you're not here. Because I've been in situations where I've been, in a bad place, and we basically had to fast. It was better to fast than to eat junk, so our minds could stay sharp, because the $1 million, the $1 billion that you want is right up here. If you look at our ancestors and the people that have come before our generation, I'm only 35, but look at the successful African Americans or just copper colored people on the planet. They use their minds to reach the next step. So to use your mind, be careful about what you put in your mouth, but you can achieve anything. So you can reach me on that platform. You can email me. I do the one-on-ones on Saturday. It's completely free. My purpose is just to uplift my people, and I don't charge a dime. I make enough money doing what I do. So please reach out. I'm always reachable. I'm usually booked on Saturdays, but hit my inbox and I will get you in. Even if we got to talk for 2 hours, I'm here to help.
Wow.
All right,
so
awesome.
guys, we like to thank you guys for coming on.
Yes.
We definitely have to get to the next show.
Yes.
We salute you. Kudos to you guys and your success. And we definitely going to be reaching back out to you guys again, because listen, information is power. And guys, you know what time it is. So we really want to keep our Black people, our we want to keep them informed as much as possible in terms of building wealth. So we will be reaching back out to you guys. If we'll work out something with your schedule. If we have one of you guys come on here monthly, I would love that. You know what I mean? As we build for that information that you guys can talk about. So guys, we thank you for coming on to the show. And kudos to you. We appreciate you. And guys, we're going to move on to our next topic. So guys, we thank you and we'll see you soon. All right.
Blessings.
All right. Blessings. Yeah. Okay. So guys, we're going to our next show. Our next show we're talking about the Charles Martin, the singer. In fact, in this new piece that we're doing, we have a gospel singer, leader, worship. He gonna tell you who he is.
Yes.
But I mean, we've worked in the past. We've done work together.
Right.
But I want you guys to give a applause. I don't know if I don't have the button to push this young man in. Anointed gospel singer Charles Martin is here with us today. He's coming out. I don't know if he come out or come out. Have the single already been put out, Mr. Martin?
The single is out, man. The single is out. It's been out for about a couple months now. And first of all, I just want to thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. You guys are my family. And you always support, and I really, really appreciate you guys. It's my single, and it's been a while. It's been a while. So it is out. Because of the whole COVID experience that we're having here, things are really different when it comes to promoting and things like that. So it's out. I've done multiple interviews and things like that around the country and stuff, and it's doing pretty good. So I praise God for it. And I finally got to sing it last week. At the Michigan Chronicle Experience and HAP Experience, which was amazing. It was
Wow.
amazing. So,
Awesome.
I mean, we had like 20,000 people looking at it live.
Wow. Wow.
That was huge. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
So we really, really, I thank God for it. And I thank God for y'all. Y'all rocking it out. That's what I'm talking about.
You know what? Listen, hey, that's what's up. But you know what? Hey, let's get into the song. Let's get into the song in terms of like, what was the why truth? What what was the song in terms of
what inspires you?
What inspired to write this song?
You know, I write about life experiences, my life. It may be something I'm going through or something that the Lord is talking to me about. And of course, with all of the challenges that we're facing nowadays, with social, economic, and just the social climate of the world right now. And truth is just what we need. No matter what the media says, no matter how we feel, no matter what we see, at the end of the day, what I believe and what I know to be true is that God is truth. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, and no matter whether we, what we believe, what his word says, it is what it is. And so at the end of the day, I said, you know what, we need to get back to truth. We need to get back to what we all know is truth. And because there's so much swirling around in the media and everything, God knows it is. It's just so much swirling around. And it's a lot of things going on here. And so at the end of the day, we just need to get back to the basics. And God is the truth.
That God is
right.
That's right. So now, what are we expecting to hear on this? Like, I mean, is it a contemporary? How does it sound to be? Because I haven't heard the song yet. Is it more of a worship? Is it more of just a get up and dance truth? What style is this?
So it's mid-tempo. It's a mid-tempo song. I'm not gonna say that you're gonna dance to it, but it's got a real good groove, a real good feel. That's what I like. You're gonna feel it. I'm singing with passion. I'm singing soulful, all of that great stuff. You're gonna get the point about truth, and at the end of the day, it's probably gonna make you go into some type of worship because I am a worshiper. So at the end of the day, it's gonna point you to Christ. At the end of the day, I'm one of those people. When I write songs and write songs for everybody else, I don't write songs just to say Jesus, 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 Jesus all through the song. That's not how I write. I write what he gives me. And because I live my life for him, it's always going to point you towards him. But I'll write about anything. I'll write about anything. And that's how I write.
So now, is there any special people on the track other than yourself? Or is it just you singing along? Who on the track? What's going on with that?
So on this track, there is another young lady in the city, or people seen on the Word Network, Stephanie Pride. She's doing some background on the track, and her voice is featured all through the track. And my producer is Shardy Rock, which is Rashard Williams. He is his wife is Shayna Wilson. So that's my producer. It's been my producer for many, many years, and this is his track that he produced for me. So it's simply amazing. If you've not heard Truth, you need to go download it. It's on iTunes. It's everywhere. There's a lyric video on YouTube for Truth. And you can go MichiganChronicle.com and see the me sing Truth. There's a whole show on there. It's amazing for a lot of people from around here, from Charles Lasseter to Eric Dion is there, Beth Griffith Manley. All of us did this last week. So that was my first performance, live performance. And I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. Full band is there.
Full band. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. My full band is there. So, and my band director at this point is Cordell Walton, who is the musical director for Charlie Wilson. So,
okay.
Director. So, full band is there. So, it's good. It's good.
Awesome.
It's good stuff.
Do you guys have any questions or anything to add to it? RW3 or Lovely T?
Well, I actually, I like it. It gives me, because traditionally, listening to songs, our attention span is just so, if we're not doing less than 3 minutes, so the song is over 4 minutes and it keeps you engaged. Lord, I need your right hand. So it's a really good flow. It does put you in the mindset of worship, and you're right, the young lady.
Yeah.
I love it when her background comes in. It brings another sweet feel to the vibe as you move through the song. I think it's an excellent track, and I'm definitely going to support you and download it. it feels good. It agrees with your spirit.
Thank you.
As
Appreciate you. Praise
So I
God.
really
Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
Now, did you write it or did you have someone else to write?
I wrote it.
Okay.
Me and Shawty Rock, we kind of write everything together. So that's kind of how we do it. But I wrote it, and it was inspired from things the Lord was saying to me, and life experiences, things I was going through, all kind of stuff. So that's where it comes from. I believe that you should write from a place of honesty. I like to be transparent with the listeners and things like that. So, and it's for such a time as this. I really think that is needed. I really do.
That's right. Now, let me ask you this: what was the other album before this with this Joy that I had? What was the name of that CD?
That's called So good. That's a good segue. So the name of that album is Mary's Son, and Mary's Son was my solo album coming from my group, and so it was my first solo venture that you guys did the video on for this Joy. They did my video, y'all. So, and that was a huge thing for me. It was my first solo video coming from a group experience. So I praise God for that. So Mary's Son went on to be, Mary is my mother. Her name is Mary. And so my mother's gone on to be with the Lord. She showed me the way to Jesus. So I am Mary's son, who is, and Jesus is Mary's son too.
That's
so,
right. I get that.
Words. So from that, I have a charity now called a 501c3 called Mary's Son. So what we're doing a donation, taking donations up for the Boys and Girls Club here in Highland Park, and we're doing a toy drive for them. So any amount of donations are good. You can cash app or whatever to Mary's Son Foundation, and we are supplying gifts and toys for the Boys and Girls Club of Highland Park. So this is my first venture with my charity, my 501c3. So I'm very, very proud to do that. Something my mother always did every year for Christmas. She bought hundreds of toys for kids and stuff. So I'm just keeping the tradition going on. So
okay. So you have that nonprofit. I take it as a nonprofit. You've been pretty busy. Nonprofit, writing songs and everything else. I still want to do that music video. It was a song that you did, and I want to say that it was called Secret Place.
That's right.
That's a hot track. That was a hot trarak. And I still wanted to do. See, my vision was to always see you in the sanctuary, and it's just this spotlight on you, and you're singing in the spotlight. It's on you, and it's blacked out everywhere else. You know what I mean? And you just talking. That was one frame that I seen you, and then the other one, because I just love that. I love that flow, and I seen you walking up the street. You singing, but then it goes into. Listen.
Man,
that's a hot track right there. That's my song. I mean, this Joy was my, that was my jam right there. That was a lot of people's jam. But my thing is that Secret Place, man. Listen, we gonna hook up. We definitely gonna hook up. We gonna hook up. I'm gonna see what you
gotta talk.
You know what I mean? Even from then, my stuff then came up probably about 100% in terms of equipment now, and that was equipment. My stuff then went up probably about this much now, you know what I mean, in terms of the equipment to do a lot of better and get a lot of effective shots. So I'm gonna definitely be talking to you to see, because that Secret Place. Man, that was. I'm gonna go back and listen to that one. You're gonna have me back there listen to it.
You gonna listen to it. I was excited about Secret Place. Is one of my favorite tracks, but as an artist, you say all of them, but no, that's really one of my favorite tracks. And I remember we were writing it and stuff, and I was just like, man, this is something else. So I would have loved to do a video on that. And to be honest, the album was it's special to me because it was my first independent album. And I won a Blue Mic Male Artist of the Year Independent Award for it. Wow. So and I was up against people like Ernest Pugh, and I won. So it was like a good thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, hey God, this is needed. What I have to say is needed right now. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you guys' support. We most definitely need to talk.
That's right. We gonna cut the. But now, how can they? Go ahead and read.
So, with the pandemic going on, what are ways that you are really trying to reach the masses? Like first audience and things of that nature.
So it's a really a different time. We can't travel and things like that. We can't do a bunch of shows and stuff. You're doing things virtually. I have a taping, I think this Wednesday, that I'm doing virtually. for something else. And it's a bunch of artists we're gonna kind of tape, but individually and stuff. So you know, you got to be careful. You got to be safe out here. Because for a long time I was like, no, I'm gonna stay. I'll stay quiet for a minute. But once the singles came out, I had to kind of go. My publicist is like, you got to start doing. We got to figure this out. So we're trying to just do stuff virtually as much as possible. Staying relevant. You know, my charity is in full effect. I'm doing things with that. Wherever I can, like I said, and last week was really, really huge because that's the first time I came out with the song with the band and did it like that. So, you know, we're just trying to keep it moving. We're putting out new music. I got some more new music coming out. All of that because people have more time now to listen to music. You know,
that's right.
Most definitely.
We can't do a whole lot right now, but we can listen to music. We can see what's going on. So that's what's inspiring me as well to put out some new music. I got some new music coming out, some other artists projects as well. I've been kind of in the studio working on as well. So that's what I've been kind of doing behind the scenes until we can get through some of this. So
now
go ahead.
Is your main genre is obviously gospel. Have you been tempted to step outside of that? It seems like you've elevated and gained some notoriety.
Notoriety.
Thank you. And with that, I'm sure comes along, you know, people saying, "Hey, can you do this for me? Can you write for me?" So, have you been tempted? Do you know, or are you able to kind of jump in different genres, knowing what your main genre would be?
You know, I don't have a problem writing R&B. I don't have a problem writing R&B. I might even do something, but my whole deal is that whatever I write, I don't break God's laws. So you'll never hear me telling somebody to do something that's against God's laws. That's not something I would ever write. So it has to come from that place when I write it. And that's kind of how I see it. I don't mind writing things about love because God created love. You know what I'm saying? As long as we do it within his confounds, it's approved. So I don't mind writing about that, but I'll never encourage somebody to do something against his laws. So I absolutely, and I've had the opportunity to sing with different people, whether it's Patti LaBelle, Kim, different people. I've had opportunities, but I just never quite see my ministry kind of going that way. And don't get me wrong, I got friends that do it all day that still love God. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not something that I've ever just wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So
what would you say to those people out there who are because of the pandemic, you know, it's hard for artists, in other words, to even get the motivation because of them, you know, have to wear a mask, have to do that. I mean, and it seemed like you're staying with it. You're trying to continue move with this, with your calling. What would you say to artists out there, even today? Like, how would you encourage them?
You know, I would say you have to stay focused. You have to stay before the king, because you can get very discouraged. Because I mean, many of us, I mean, I've had friends, they didn't know where their next paychecks was coming from. And that's just to be real, you know, because you know, a lot of them live off of touring or they're ministering at churches, and we're doing all this stuff, so people don't know what to do. So you just have to figure out, and a lot of us are figuring out different ways to do stuff. I mean, we behind the scenes finding ways to pitch new ideas to companies, to do virtual ideas. One of my buddy, he pitched this whole Michigan Chronicle Hap thing. He pitched it to them and they bought it. So about a few years ago, he probably would have never did that. But they're thinking of some different ideas to do things a little bit differently, because people want to see some things like this. People can't go to concerts, so they want to be able to at least have a concert in their living room at some capacity, you know. So some of us are starting to do concerts where, you know, there's a minimal fee to it, because you're not at the Fox Theater, so you're not paying $50. You may pay $10 or $20, and you can see some really good artists perform with bands and things like that. So just I would say at this time, start working on your craft. If you're not singing somewhere, just perfect what God has given you. Perfect it. Just perfect it.
That's right.
That's good.
That's right.
That's
so now, how do people get in contact with? I want them to hear that. I want them to hear the last one you did was the Mary's Baby. You said it's called Mary's Baby.
Mary's Son.
Mary's Son. I said Mary's Baby. Mary's Son. I want them
baby Jesus. Right.
Yeah. So I want them to be able to get that track as well as the single that you have out. Now, how can they reach out to you?
So my YouTube page is Charles Martin Music. Once again, YouTube is Charles Martin Music. And on Instagram, I'm official Charles Martin. And you can reach me at any of those entities. And of course, on Facebook, I'm Charles Martin. I have a fan page, I have a regular page, but you can go to the fan page, whatever. And I'm on Facebook as well. So Instagram, official Charles Martin, YouTube, Charles Martin Music. And you'll see Mary's Son on there as well as the new music as well. And some other behind the scenes things that I'm doing. So
what tell us some more things. What else that you're doing behind the scenes? I know you said about the nonprofit. I know we know about the singing career. What else is you up to these days?
So also when I say behind the scenes, we're trying to do some, I'm not gonna say full reality stuff, but just kind of give people a different perspective in what artists do as far as, in the studio, some things that we're doing, just so you can guys can kind of see that, people can see that we're real people, that we do real things as well. You know what I'm saying? So just different things like that. And, I'm a businessman too. So I heard you guys talking about investing and things like that. So that's part of my life as well. So I like all of it. I like business as well as music. So that's what I do.
Now listen, is there any possible way? Now, I'm about to do you like Coco did you. And I seen it. I seen Coco. And I don't know where your voice at, but is it any way we can get a sneak peek of truth? Just a sample? Just so that people can hear, hey, listen, I need to do something with that. We was gonna go there. I think every interviewer you should just get your voice ready. They're gonna always ask you that. I mean, is there anything? I mean, I'm like Coco on this one,
And we know you got an instrumental sitting around you somewhere.
Even if you want to go raw, even if you just want to, you don't need. I mean, just something. It's anything. What do you? Come on.
Me and Coco, we practiced that. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
Right. You and RW3 can sing it. No,
yeah, yeah. Right. So what I'm gonna sing to y'all. Lord, I need your help. Lord, I need your guidance. Lord, I need your wisdom. Please tell me the truth. Woo. That's a little bit of truth.
That's right. That's what we were talking about. I knew we'd get something out. Hey, that's right. That's right, guys. Listen, you have to go out, and this brother is anointed. He's anointed. I know that he's anointed. I know the church he come from. You know what I mean? And I know that church did. You couldn't get on that platform if you didn't have some type of anointing. Bishop didn't play that. You know what I mean? And I know what house he comes from. This is a good brother. A talented singer, anointed singer. He love God, love y'all. And guys, I want you to go out. I want you to go online. If you want to hear the truth, then go buy the truth.
That's right. Come on.
Hear the truth, go buy the truth. You know what I mean? So the truth is already out there, right? You just got to purchase it. And put that in your, what do they call that? In your
playlist.
Your playlist. Yep. Put that in your playlist while you drive and while you going to the store. Because listen, Lord, we need your help. We need your help. You know what I mean? Definitely. When you're driving on the freeway or wherever it is, you might want to put that in your put that in your playlist, and so that you could just be encouraged. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm just asking those who would check him out. Maybe he might pick up some new fans, guys. Even as it aired, between it as it going on, it might hit about 300-400 hits out there. We already know it will. So it's going to be people who's going to be watching this, and that's what we're telling you, encouraging you to go and download, go get this song, get this single, and support his ministry, support his nonprofit, get these toys together for these kids. It's going to a good place, and it's something that's trustworthy. He's a trustworthy person. So I definitely want you to know that. Charles, we thank God for you.
Yes. Thank God for y'all.
Yes, right. And we're going to be, I'm going to be reaching out to you because, hey, I'm still interested in some things with you. This pandemic just just so nasty. You know what I mean? But
Nasty,
man, I
brother.
tell you what, we can find ways to work some things out. I know we can. So
That's right, brother.
yeah, you just got to work it out. And last but not least, before I do that, I'm going to there's a guy, he's a relative of mine. I think it's called Big Audio. Pull him up, put Dre up real quick, because I want this to deal with this singing. And even you could reach out to this guy. He has a platform. And he has a way where he can go and video you. He got the sound. I mean, there's guys who come down there now who play their instruments, and he got the whole setup. And you go to his place of business, and I want you to push this one right here, the one right there, the video right there, where it says 25 Days of Christmas. Push that. Can we play that in there? I want to push him in there real quick. I want you guys to see this real quick. This guy, he's a relative of mine, and we've been talking, and I said that whenever I get a chance, I'm going to promote him, because this is a segue even to what you're doing. This is his business that he does. I don't know if we can go into it and show one of the videos. Can you load it up on the screen where we can see it together? This is a relative of mine. I don't know why we can't see it. Can we see it? This is his band, a band playing. I'm trying to show you when she get it on. I'm gonna let her just do it real quick. I want you guys to see this. Now this
I know him.
Yeah, and see, he messed with nothing but gospel artists.
That's James Shelton right there.
Yeah, and he's. This is right now his location. I've been trying to work with them, and can you scroll through it where it show him interviewing the different people? I don't know if you can scroll through it, but this is right now in his business that he does. He can go live, and so for artists that really want to get on, this is in his place of business right now. I mean, he's connected with the church world. I mean, that's what he come out of his video. But go to a part right here.
Well, I do know her.
Just click on it real quick. Can you put it back where we can see them as well? So this is his 25 Days of Christmas. This is in his business going on right now. So for those who are artists and they want to get on and they still want to do their music and let people online see them, I'm gonna. I think we could put up his information where people can actually contact him right now. If you knew this is out of his house, this is out of his house in his lower basement. I mean, it's fixed up down there. I mean, he got, keyboards, the whole 9 yards, where people can just go in there and they perform. You know, I mean, he's doing it at a nice level. So this is his 25 Days to Christmas that he's doing now. RW3, remember at my house why you had that's what you call right there.
Who was that?
What's her name?
Sunny.
Smile.
I think it's Sunny, right?
Yeah, Sunny. I did a music video on her too. I did her music video. I did some music video, but yeah, I did her music video too. But anyway, I mean, they're down there. That's what they're doing. This is in his place of business, which is in his home, in his lower basement. You will never know that that's what this is because the way he got it set up. I mean, you know, he's my cousin. And he's a sound guy. That's what he do with sound. His name is Andre Hutcherson. You know, so that's what he do. So if you do have a business, I mean, if you are an artist and you want to get on, you can go into his establishment and do your whatever it is you do. And if you want to do a concert, he got you. You know, you could do a concert and take it live. So just so you will know, this is what's going on. Maybe we could put up his information. But yeah, I wanted to do that. I should have been plugging. I should have actually had him on when I had you on at that time. But maybe we'll do it again because I definitely want to continue promoting artists as much as possible to what they do, because that's my other passion, the entertainment. And I love that industry.
Yes.
So, but Charles, we thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank y'all for having me.
That's
You're
right.
welcome. You're welcome.
We love you, brother. We love you, brother. And we're going to keep you in mind, keep you in prayer.
And give your children a kiss for me. Give your little daughter, and she get big
will.
now.
I know she's a superstar already. Okay.
Tom, real quick. Someone has jumped on Ryan McLaughlin. Oh boy, I wish I can get on this podcast. I'm looking for someone to help with my podcast in search of a Black co-host, female or male, serious inquiries. And I know Ryan, Bushel Media, you can connect with them and they can give you the information. They can work with you to get that started. So that's someone just spoke, Tom.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah. Just
cool.
we'll give them our information. Reach out, but I'm gonna be connecting with you, Charles.
Most definitely, brother.
Real soon, and we can go over some things and see what's going on. But thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank y'all for having me. Nice to meet you guys.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
RW3 and Lovely T, stay on real quick. All right. Thank you, Mr. Martin. All right. So, guys, we going. Guys, listen, we're still live. Listen, if you would love to be on the show, we put up this again. I want you guys to contact us. Here's our information to contact. If you would love to be on this show, we're looking for interesting people to come on to the show. Those who have some great information that they would like to share with with everybody. You know what I mean? They want to share.
Especially if they can help the
most
community
definitely.
color.
Yeah,
exactly. That they can help. We will love for you to be on the show. We actually want you to reach out to us so that we can help you whatever it is you're doing. But at the same time, if you have some information that you want to share, we'll go over it with the panel. And if we feel like it's something that can be on the show, we'll bring you guys on. So definitely reach out. Do we have an contact information
it's
today?
Down at the
it's down at the screen. Okay, good. Yeah. So go to that information and contact us, and we will see what we can do to get you. We got to get Eugene on the show. I forgot about bringing Eugene on the show. He has some things that he's working on, and we're going to reach out to Eugene as well. He's was a listener to the show. We'll reach out to him as well. Yes. But guys, do you have anything going on, or anything that you guys want to talk about? Let anybody know anything going on or whatever.
All right. Okay.
No, not today.
Not today.
Awesome.
Okay. So we'll talk to you guys offline real quick. So guys, listen, I want you to I want you to share this.
Yes.
Go to our YouTube page, show our YouTube page some love. Go to our IG, show us some love, guys, because we really, really, really want to hear from you. We really, really, really want to be the voice of reason for you. The more people that come on to this platform, the more voice that this platform has to get out truth to the community. So it's going to take you. So we want you guys to just join us, become part of our family. I think we're going to make up some names. We'll figure out what our family, our audience would be, what they'll be named. So guys, like and share, and we'll talk to you next Sunday at 4:30. No, 4:45. I just keep saying 4:30. We can get into 4:30 out of here. About 4:40, 4:45 that we'll be on, and we'll talk to you soon. Stay on RW3. Love you.
Have a lovely day.